So congratulations, you may have just ended up buying a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the first things you should probably do, some of the best tricks and tips that you should probably know of your Galaxy Z Fold 4. Now, as always, the first things I mention is putting a screen protector on at least the cover display on the front, as well as throwing the case that you have, or maybe that you bought a case for your Z Fold 4, because these things are very expensive. The last thing you want to do is go ahead and break this type of phone. So in my opinion, putting a cover display, screen protector if you already don't have one, throwing one on this display is really important, as well as putting the case on, because if you drop this thing, if you break it, this is a very expensive phone to break. It's almost $2,000, and this is probably the last thing you want to break in your hand. Now, another trick I would recommend you is how to fold and unfold this thing properly. I know a lot of people that end up buying a phone like this, and they end up folding it in a very weird way. So, for those of you who don't know, the way I fold it is I pretty much unlatch it, and then I move my fingers to the side like this, and I go ahead and open it up. Some people I know leave their fingers in the back, and they actually end up kind of, not like they just like end up pinching themselves on the back right there. So that is something I would recommend avoiding. So the way I end up folding and unfolding my Z Fold 4 is by going through. I just unopen it like this, and I go ahead and just put my fingers to the side, and I unopen the rest of it. So don't be super crazy with it. You don't want to break the latch, but that is the first thing I'd recommend doing if you are opening and unopening this device. But a very important thing I'd recommend doing every single user who buys a Galaxy Z Fold 4, or any phone for that matter, is to update it as soon as you buy it. Because chances are, if you just bought this phone, there may already be an update available for your phone. So what I would recommend doing is making your way over to your settings application. Now, I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, so it's probably not going to work, but scroll all the way down until you see software update. So go ahead and click on software update right there, and right up here you can see download and install. So what you can do here is go and click on download and install, and it says, there's not a network available. But if you have an update available, go ahead and install it. That is a very cool way to go ahead and just pretty much get a much better performing phone and more features overall on your Z Fold 4 than you probably would have had before. So that is another cool thing. Now on this dock at the bottom, you can probably see this is a very cool feature of owning a Fold. Now, not every single phone has this type of capability, but the way this dock works is you have your nav bar buttons on the side, you have your app drawer, you can get to see all your apps right here, but you have this dock. Now, the way you can kind of change these dock icons around, so if we make our way over to our little icon here, you can see all these icons at the bottom. This is our dock. So if I wanted the Play Store to be down here, I can go and bring the Play Store down here. If I go and make my way over to any of these applications, you can see the Play Store is right there. These other apps are the ones that I have in pretty much my multitasking panel. So another thing I'd recommend doing is kind of customizing this dock. Let's say you don't want the Play Store here anymore, or you don't want this icon here either. Well, you can go ahead and just remove these icons, and whenever you go inside of an application, the dock will always be there, and there will always be applications down there you can go ahead and use. So like I said, not every phone has this type of capability, and it's really cool. You can just quickly jump from one app to the other, to the other, to the other, and it's one of my favorite things about owning a Fold. I wish more Samsung phones have it. Maybe there's a way to turn it on, but that is another really cool thing about this phone. But going on with that, another cool trick with your Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 is split screen multitasking. But it's a little bit of a twist. There is no phone that can allow you to split screen multitask or pop-up view like this one can. Other phones can do it, but it's crazy how cool it looks on a massive screen like this. So to do this, what you want to do, just load up any application you want in the background, which is use Google Chrome as an example. This may not be the best application, but then what you want to do is get into your multitasking screen. So here what we can do is we can go ahead and get into our little Chrome icon here, and we can click open in pop-up view. We can always open in split screen view as well, but opening it up in pop-up view will pop this window out like this, and we can go ahead and make this screen bigger or smaller. We can go and bring it like this. We can go ahead and drag this window over to a specific corner right here, and I think we can get up to 3 of these widgets available, or these pop-up views. So you can do the same exact thing again. Go ahead and boot it up here. You can go and pop this one open in pop-up view, and you can just keep doing the same thing, which is so incredible. Now we have this icon here. We can always bring this one open too, and that is it. We can have, I think, 3 of these icons open. So these are like 2 different, completely different windows, and you can still use your phone in the background as well, which is so awesome. If you want to load up another app, you can. If you want to go back home, you can as well. And you can just continue to open up these specific split screen pop-up views that you have. And that is another really cool thing. Now, if you want to turn them off, you can just go up here and swipe off. But that is another awesome thing that I love about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. Now, another cool thing that I always recommend is seeing if you want to enable some stock settings and kind of rearrange them a little bit. So if we go and make our way over to our settings icon, the display option actually has a ton of cool things within it. Now, honestly, I would always recommend turning off adaptive brightness because I hate it. You can always turn on extra brightness if you want to make your screen a little bit brighter, but there's also the option of turning on dark mode. So a lot of you may already know this, but if you're a brand new phone owner, you can actually turn on dark mode by clicking there, and you can actually turn your phone completely dark. So this honestly saves a ton of battery life, especially with a big, massive panel like this. If you want to turn on light mode, you can. I typically keep light mode on because it looks better in camera, but that is another thing I'd recommend kind of taking a look at. Now, towards the bottom, there's also another thing I'd probably recommend taking a look at, which is your gesture and your nav bar. So if we go and look at the navigation bar right here, we can go and click here, and you can see you can have the ability of kind of utilizing your swipe gestures or your buttons. Now, I like keeping the buttons on my fold because it just makes it a little bit easier, but you can always turn on swipe gestures, and that will actually allow you to go ahead and utilize the swipe gestures instead of clicking the buttons. Now, one thing I don't really like about the swipe gestures on this type of phone is that we do have that dock, and sometimes if you want to go ahead and click on something on the dock, you can see it doesn't work out that well. So as you can see, it's a little different, but I think it's still perfectly fine. It just depends on what you like doing. Personally, I like having the buttons on, that way I'm not accidentally touching the dock too much, but you can always go ahead and kind of reposition whichever way you want to as well. Now, we still have the theme option within our Galaxy Fold. I'm not connected to Wi-Fi like I mentioned, but there's a lot of cool things there. But another awesome thing within our Fold is actually getting LED notifications. So what these are, and I'll go ahead and show you exactly how to get in there, is to make your way over to your settings. You want to click on notifications right here. You then want to go ahead and click on brief pop-up settings, which is right there. And right here, you can go and click on edge lighting style. And on this panel, you can see right up there, we have this little LED notification thing. So if you get notified, if you get notifications or whatever the case is, you can actually come up as LED notifications right there, which is really cool. And you can change them out. So let's say I want a basic one, just ring around the light right here. Well, you can go and have it like this. So if whether you're on this display or the cover display, it'll go ahead and actually light it up, which is really cool. Typically, I like using one of these ones because it kind of is more of like a cooler effect a little bit. It makes the phone look so much more premium, and you can go ahead and kind of choose whichever one you want. Now you can also go in and click on the color, and you can change the color of these specific LED notifications as well. And you can also click on advanced, and you can change the duration of time of how long these notifications are, as well as transparency. Let's say I want them to be, super transparent. I don't know why you'd want that, but you can go ahead and kind of, modify it that way. You can also make it low, so then it's a little bit easier to see for the most part. So you can see much, much more, I guess profound in a way. You can also change the duration time, like I mentioned. So you can go ahead and make it longer or smaller, just depending on however way you want it. So those are pretty much the main tricks. The only other thing I can think of possibly is the control center. So if we swipe down and swipe down once more, there's a ton of stuff here, and I just could spend 30 minutes talking about it. But here you have quick toggles. You can always go ahead and turn off your phone by clicking that power icon up there. You can power off your device, which is really cool. You have all these different control center toggles down here, which I'd recommend getting used to. You have things like Samsung DeX, which is amazing in and of itself. And this is a very powerful phone, so you're probably going to be able to utilize DeX as almost like a complete desktop, alternative in my opinion. And you can always add new toggles and all these other things, but those are pretty much the main little tricks and tips I can think of right out the gate. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video.